Assalamu alaikum. All right. Is this too loud? Feels too loud, huh? It's good? Okay. All right. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, again. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you, everyone who took some time off from their Friday evening to come listen to me. Inshallah, it's all for the sake of Allah that we're trying to get together and learn about how to give a khutbah. And this is step 2 of a 3-step process that we talked about last week. Last week we gave a quick introduction on the intent and the goal of this training for us to develop confidence and the ability to give a good khutbah. And we talked about the most important key. Who remembers what the key that was shared last week was? What was the key? What was the most important thing? Who was here last week and remembers? Go ahead.
I'm not part of the youth center.
It's all good. It's open for everyone.
As long as you're doing it for less violent, then I think.
Yep. This is the most important thing, and I'm going to reiterate it. It's the intention. The intention makes or breaks our deeds. Whether we're giving a khutbah, whether we're giving a khatira, whether we're praying, whether we're reading Quran, anything that we do that's religious has to be 100% only for Allah. It cannot be that we do something for Allah and for people to praise us. It cannot be that we're doing something to have people say that we're smart, that we're good, that we're generous, that we're brave. We shouldn't care about what people think about us. We should only care about doing it for the sake of Allah. And it's not really about you, even though you are the one who's standing in the minbar giving the khutbah. It's not about you as a khatib. It's about you using your platform, using this opportunity to redirect the focus and the attention of the people towards Allah and the ayahs and the hadiths of the Prophet ﷺ. So this is number 1. And this is important to prepare as we enter and we start thinking about how to give a khutbah. Our intention has to be purely for the sake of Allah. Number 2 is there is no shame in saying that you're not ready. If someone ever gives you an opportunity to give a khutbah, and this also applies to other things, if there's someone who's asking you to give a khatira and you're not ready, it's okay to say, I'm not ready yet. If you're not praying your 5 daily prayers and you're not, in a good place yet with your deen, I don't think you should volunteer and take that on. We need to work on ourselves first before we interface with the public. And don't seek it out. Don't chase a khutbah. Don't feel like I need to accomplish this in my life. It's not on my bucket list. I have to achieve this. If it comes your way, great. If it doesn't come your way, great. But it's not something that we should chase. And just so you guys know, there is like a system that happens in the background where the sheikh, and not just Sheikh Yasser here, but in every masjid, the sheikh is like looking out for who can give khutbahs, who does he feel like is someone who's been coming to the masjid regularly, they've seen good character from that person. So it's already there. Like there's a system in the background, even if we don't see it, that helps the masjids and the imams find new khatibs. So inshallah your turn will come if it's meant to happen. But your goal shouldn't be that I need to come and give a khutbah or else I feel like something is missing. With that being said though, if you do get the opportunity, you have to step up for it. You have to take full responsibility. You have to do it in such a good way that as if someone is paying you a lot of money to do this khutbah. Or whatever it may be. Anything that you're asked to do religiously, just because it's a volunteer thing doesn't mean we shouldn't take it professionally. We shouldn't put in proper effort. Because at the end of the day, we're doing it for the sake of Allah. So if someone asks you to give a khutbah, step up, take on full responsibility, be brave, be confident. Don't wing it. Don't feel like you're going to get away with cramming last second and preparing a good khutbah. People can tell. People can tell if you prepared well, and people can tell if you're doing everything last minute. One of the people I used to listen to, the most motivational speakers I used to listen to in Orange County, I would talk to him and ask him like, what's your secret? Why are you so good at talking? Like he gives khutbahs and he gives khatiras and he gives religious talks. And he told me growing up, it used to bother him so much that he would feel that the khatib or the sheikh or whoever is giving a talk, it's obvious that they're winging it. So that bothered him so much. So he said, when I grow up, that's what he said. This guy is older than me now. But he said, when I grow up, if I'm ever given the opportunity, I'll do my best. I'll prepare. I'll over-prepare. And even like when I see his like preparation, like he has like a lot of like slides, a lot of text. He over-prepares. So that's how we should approach it. If we're given the opportunity to give a khutbah, we should be like take it as if it's a job that we're getting paid a lot for. So, inshallah, this training, 2 parts. Number 1, we'll talk about the fiqh related things. What makes a khutbah, right? So, the way I think of it is 3 levels, right? Level 1 is giving a khutbah, and that's what we'll cover in section 1. And then level 2 is how to give a good khutbah. And that's when the public speaking tips and frameworks that we'll talk about will help us not just deliver a khutbah, but a good khutbah. And then level 3 is how to give a great khutbah, and I don't know how. I'm still learning. If you know someone who can teach me how to give a great khutbah, I'd love to learn that. But at least, inshallah, the goal is to give a khutbah, like proper khutbah, fulfill the fiqh related obligations. And then we'll talk also about how to give a good khutbah, which is a lot of it is public speaking. That also applies to khatiras, religious talks, and honestly, non-religious talks as well, like at work, at school. So a lot of these tips can apply there too. Because giving a khutbah is an art and a science. So the science part is the fiqh stuff that we'll talk about, and then the art stuff is the public speaking tips. Any questions? I do want to keep this interactive, so like raise your hand or say anything if you have any comments. And don't feel shy, because one of the most important things is a saying that لا يتعلم هذا العلم مستكبر أو مستحي. Someone said that. I don't remember who said it, but basically this religion, this knowledge, this Islamic knowledge is not going to be learned by someone who's shy or someone who's arrogant. So we need to ask questions, we need to overcome any shyness we have, and we need to not feel like we're above asking questions. So inshallah, let's make this interactive. So let's talk about the fiqh related things. Again, this is what makes a khutbah a khutbah. A khutbah is not just a talk, it's not someone standing up and sharing his feelings. There are certain rules. So what are the rules that make a khutbah a khutbah? If you're ever going to be in a situation where you have to give a khutbah, you need to make sure that you follow these rules. So just like with any fiqh things, there's differences of opinion, but you need to make sure the location and the number of the people and the adhan is properly followed. There's difference of opinion between scholars of how many people are needed to conduct a khutbah. Some schools of thought said 12, some schools of thought said 40, some schools of thought said 3. There's difference of opinion there on the number of people, and then the location as well. The location cannot be anywhere, anytime. There's certain guiding principles. It has to be somewhere public that is well established, that is known and accessible by people. So what I'll talk about with regards to the location, number of people, and adhan, is make sure you don't start something without checking with a proper knowledgeable sheikh if what you're doing is correct. And I'll give a specific example. Say you don't have Jum'ah established in your school, and you feel motivated, hey, I'm gonna go and I want to establish Jum'ah at my school, but maybe you don't have enough people, maybe you don't have the proper location because it's not accessible. So before you start anything, ask Sheikh Yasser, ask someone who's knowledgeable, if I do a Jum'ah, if I host a Jum'ah at my school, and these are the conditions, would that count? Or do we need to pray it as Dhuhr? Or do I need to find the masjid that prays Jum'ah late? So don't jump into it without asking questions, because there's a lot of rules, there's a lot of difference of opinion. Make sure that you keep that in mind. And I'm not going to give any fatwa today about like what is the number of people or location or even the adhan rules. There's specific things regarding the adhan rules, but these are things for you to keep in mind, that it cannot be willy-nilly. Like you have to abide by certain guidelines. And the easiest thing is, if something is established and it's under supervision of scholars, then alhamdulillah, you don't have to do anything. But if you're starting your own thing, you have to check. It's your responsibility to check and ask people of knowledge. So I summarized all the fiqh of the khutbah and Salat al-Jum'ah in one slide. So I'm stepping through it right now. Some of it is obvious, right? You, like we see every Jum'ah, you face the people opposite to the Qibla. So the people are facing the Qibla, you're facing the people. And you say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, out loud. And then you sit down and the adhan is getting called. And then the adhan gets called, then you stand up. And you give the first lecture, the first khutbah. The khutbah to Jum'ah is like 2 halves or 2 khutbahs, right? So what do you say in the first lecture? These are kind of the guidelines of what the minimums are with some safety buffer. So this is not the bare minimum, but this is the minimum that I would recommend us to follow. So what are the things that we should hit in the first part of the khutbah? Is Alhamdulillah, Hamdulillah. So we usually start, there's a proper script, and I have the script, and we'll talk about it. Inna alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuh. Right? We say alhamd, we praise Allah. There's that should be your beginning. That's how you start it. If you don't have that memorized, any form of hamd is okay. Like I heard that you can say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Malik Yawmiddin. You can start your khutbah that way because you're giving hamd to Allah. You're praising Allah. So you start with hamd, praising Allah, saying Alhamdulillah, Inna Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And then it's recommended to remind people of taqwa. Taqwa is one word that captures a lot of meanings. Taqwa means fear of Allah, love of Allah, doing what Allah wants, staying away from the haram. That's all encompassed in the word taqwa. So there's ayahs of taqwa that we recite. I recite regularly every Jum'ah. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. O you who believe, have taqwa towards Allah as it should be established, and die not but Muslims, and die not but believers. So it's an ayah of the Quran, so it hits that. It fulfills the fact that you brought an ayah from the Quran, and also you reminded people of taqwa. And it's a strong reminder, die not except as Muslims. It's a strong reminder, because if someone were to die as a Muslim, they need to live as a Muslim, right? And in order to live as a Muslim, we need to start today. We can't procrastinate. So there's a lot of meaning behind this one ayah. Next thing you should include is salawat on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the minimum way is Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu Muhammadan Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So you send salawat on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's recommended to also include one ayah and one hadith. So whatever topic you're going to talk about, say you're talking about the harms of lying. So find an ayah that talks about lying, bring it in Arabic and translate it. And same thing, find the hadith, an authentic hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that talks about lying, why we shouldn't lie. Say in Arabic and in English. And, talk to people. So like you're talking about lying, for example. You told people the ayah, the hadith, but also like remind people. Like the whole point is to connect with people, to give them a reminder, tell them, I know that we might overlook lying and think that it's okay because it's something that a lot of us do, but we need to catch ourselves and not fall into that trap. Something simple like that, but at least you gave a reminder. And when you're closing out the first half, أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العلي العظيم لي ولكم. You tell people that I'm making istighfar for myself and for you. فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. So you make istighfar, and that's when you sit down for 30 seconds more or less, and you're saying astaghfirullah, 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 and people are saying istighfar. So that's the first half of a Jum'ah. This is not the bare minimum again, but this is kind of what I would recommend, the minimum that we should all be able to do. If any of us wants to give a khutbah, we should be able to do all of these. We should be able to say Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu ittaqullaha haqqa tuqatih, one ayah, one hadith, and the reminder itself, and then you sit down after you say istighfar and remind people of istighfar. Very simple, right? So the whole thing, like from a fiqh perspective, you can wrap it up in 5 minutes. So all of this, like if you do it quickly, like it can take you 2 or 3 minutes. It's just the first half. Even less if you're like doing the bare minimum. So yeah, subhanAllah, like 2 weeks ago, I had to give a khutbah, and it was structured a little bit differently, and the Arabic portion, like the actual khutbah, was 5 minutes. And alhamdulillah, like, you're able to do all this within 5 minutes. So this is the first half, including sitting down. Any questions? Okay, second half, what's recommended is again, alhamdulillah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Do we, when you say we have to get into the one ayat and one hadith, are we allowed to talk a little bit before and then get into the one ayat? Or do you have to
Yeah,
get right into the one?
that's a good question. So this is, there's flexibility in the order.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. So the question was basically if you need to follow this order in particular, right? Is that fair?
Yeah.
Like saying the ayah and hadith before talking to people?
Yeah. Like when you said send salawat and then right after that, do we have to get right into
Mhm.
the ayat?
So-
Are we allowed to talk?
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Yeah, so to answer your question, the order is not critical. After you say alhamd and, ideally say the ayah of taqwa and send salawat on the Prophet. So, inna alhamdulillah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So and then you say the ayah about taqwa, then there's flexibility on what you bring first. Like you can talk first, then bring the ayah, then talk. The order it's not super set in stone. Yeah, Cody. No, Cody first.
What about the English and Arabic? Are both mandatory? Is there flexibility there? Is there a time frame of like what you have to say first?
There's a lot of flexibility in khutbahs in general. Again, if you push it to the absolute bare minimum, it's gonna be weird. Like a bare minimum, bare bone khutbah is gonna be weird. It's not gonna be a khutbah that we're familiar with that accomplishes what we know as a khutbah.
What was the question again?
Yeah, sorry. The question was, is it an absolute must to give the ayah and the hadith in Arabic, or can we only do it in English? Something like that, right? So the answer is, there is flexibility around most of these things, but what I would recommend is to try to say the ayah and the hadith in Arabic, and then you can translate it to English. There's a lot of difference of opinion. This kind of sums up the difference of opinion in a way that, for the most part, pleases everyone. There are schools of thought that are strict on the fact that you only can say the whole khutbah in Arabic only, which is not, something that is practical. But in order to accommodate that opinion and just our practice, the ayah, the words of Allah, they're revealed in Arabic. We should put in some effort and learn some Arabic, prepare. You have a whole week, you have however long before your khutbah to know how to pronounce it, and then you can translate it. And you can help yourself with the transliteration, so you can read it in English, listen to it. So yeah, I would expect and hope that we all are able to say one ayah and one hadith in Arabic, and then you can still translate it into English. Yes, you had your hand. Does that answer your question? Yeah. What's your question?
So like right after you make the first khutbah, then you tell the people to make istighfar and then you sit down and make istighfar?
Yeah, exactly. So you'll give your talk, and then when you want to wrap it up, when you want to sit down, you tell people, we should make istighfar, I'll make istighfar, you make istighfar, and then you sit down. You're making istighfar while you're sitting down, they're making istighfar while you're sitting down. That 30-second break in Jummah. Yeah.
Is there any difference in the fiqh in the first part of the khutbah across different madhab?
There's a lot of differences of opinion. There isn't really a hard set in stone evidence from the Prophet ﷺ that a khutbah needs to have this and this and this. So scholars have worked hard to establish what needs to be in a khutbah in general. So this is kind of, like I said, something that is a good guideline for us to follow. And it's not the absolute bare minimum, but it has some safety buffer in it.
So is there any fourth wajib and sunnah in the first half of the khutbah that has to
Yeah. Again, I'm not going to get into the fiqh rulings that much. I would recommend us to talk to Sheikh Yasser about the difference of schools of thought. But if we follow this slide, then we'll be on the safe side. If we're able to hit all the points here, then there's no problems at all, inshallah. Any other questions? Yeah, I'm glad I'm getting questions. Please continue to interrupt me and ask any questions as they come up. Okay, so we sat down, we said the istighfar, and then we stand up, Alhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Again, hamd, praising Allah, send salutations on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I would recommend, a very short reminder, bring it back to the topic. As we discussed, lying is haram, and we should take it upon ourselves to watch our words, because our words can either help us enter Jannah or may lead us astray into hellfire. So lying is a big trap. For example, right? Just simple reminder. You already brought the ayah and the hadith, and then you should make dua for yourself, for the Muslim ummah, for people. And all of this, I'll share with you guys a script that has all of this laid out. So that will make it easy, so that if you don't have dua memorized, you can read the dua with the transliteration. And then the closing, I'll share that as well in the script. And then you ask for iqama. Even if you don't explicitly ask for it, that's fine. And then the muadhin will make iqama, and then you'll stand for prayer. When you're praying only two, as we know. The intention is Jum'ah. They're both out loud, as if you're praying Fajr. But that basically is how Jum'ah is prayed. And for you to be able to lead Jum'ah, again, this is more on the bare minimum side, but you should be able to recite Al-Fatiha correctly. So make sure that your Al-Fatiha is done correctly. There isn't mistakes in how you pronounce Al-Fatiha. Ideally, and the short surah and the whole prayer is done correctly, but focus on your Al-Fatiha. Like Surah Al-Fatiha, don't make mistakes in it. Okay? Any questions? So here's the script, and all of this information you guys will have access to. Let me... Alright. You'll have access to this, so you'll be able to see it and read through it. It's a little busy, but basically the black part is the Arabic part. This is the transliteration, how you pronounce it in English letters, and this is the meaning of what you're saying. So you have the proper location, number of people, adhan. If you can't find the jama'ah, then you'll have to pray dhuhr, and you face the people like we talked, and then people are facing qibla. So you say assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Someone else is calling adhan. This is the script. This is basically, I'm giving you guys what you need to follow. You just need to plug in what you'll talk about. And this is going to be helpful for whoever wants to do a practice khutbah. This is a good start for you all. So we said you start with hamd, right? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen as a minimum. But the good way is to do it in this form. Inna alhamdulillah, nahmadu wa nasta'inu wa nastaghfiruh. This is how most khutbahs are, and it traces back. There's evidence of it tracing back to the Prophet ﷺ. So this is, it's right there. And as you know, you can read during Jummah. You don't have to memorize anything in Jummah. If you don't have anything memorized, you can read. So this is the Arabic. This is the hamd part. This is how you read it in English letters. And this is what the meaning of what you're reading. And then this is the ayah of taqwa with the transliteration. Have taqwa, be mindful of Allah, and die not except as Muslims. And then we finished all the introductory parts, right? We hit all those points. Now we can start talking about the topic, whatever topic you choose. So the actual reminder, whether, avoid lying, avoid looking at haram, avoid bad friends, whatever it may be that you want. This is where you would insert it here. Again, one ayah, one hadith in Arabic as I recommend, and you can translate to English. And then talk to people. Make sure you connect with the people, share with them what you have to say. Ali, right? So this is what you were saying, right? So we finished everything, and then you want to do istighfar. So this is what you would say as an example. أقول ما تسمعون واستغفر الله لي ولكم من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. This is how you would say it, and this is what it means. I seek forgiveness from Allah for me and you, so seek forgiveness from Allah. And then that's when you sit down. It does not have to be that specific. What I would recommend that you have to follow is what I shared in the PowerPoint, in that one slide. So you just want to do istighfar for you and the people, and ask people to do istighfar. Ideally you do it in Arabic too, but if you don't, again, there's a lot of flexibility. You sit down, You make istighfar 20 seconds or so, however, catch your breath, Then you stand up. Alhamdulillah again. Salatu salam ala Rasulillah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah Muhammadan abduhu rasuluh. Right? We finished the introduction. Insert your reminder here. Whatever the topic is, you will say whatever you need to say. And then that's when you start wrapping it up. So, as you guys can tell, it's not that long. What a khutbah is not that long. This is kind of how you start wrapping it up. You say, send salawat on the Prophet ﷺ. It's recommended to say this particular verse. Allah and the angels send salawat on the Prophet. So, O you who believe, send salawat on the Prophet. And then we talked about the dua. Here's some examples for you so you don't have to struggle. Right? All on this page. And then this is the closing. I don't know if you notice in Jum'ah, most khatibs close the same way. So, عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي. This is that part, right? And you have the transliteration and you have the translation of the meanings. So this is the script. You can see like everything is there for you. The beginning of the first khutbah, and then the end of the first khutbah. You just have to plug in whatever you'll talk about. One ayah, one hadith. Yeah, easy, right? And you can find something to talk to the people about. Same thing in the second khutbah. And the dua is there. And then you start, you finish the dua, and then you do the closing, and then you stand up in prayer. So that's the script. And you guys have access to it, or you will have access to it. It's already uploaded on the website. So simple stuff, trying to keep it as easy as possible for everyone. Any questions? This is basically the summary of how to give a khutbah. That's what makes a khutbah, right? You can give talks, you can give lectures, you can give khatiras, but like if you want to give a khutbah, follow this slide, and you have the script as an example of how to follow it. Yes, Goni.
When you sit down in between to make istighfar, is there like recommended
Duration?
time,
No,
duration?
not that I know of. Yeah.
Are you allowed to take a sip of water or something?
I've seen khatibs do it. I mean, they also like shuffle papers, like they're on their iPad. So I think like if you're not for fun, like they're like going through the khutbah. But because I've wondered about that, because like when you're listening to the khutbah, like you shouldn't be on your phone. You shouldn't like drink water even. Like you can hold off. But yeah, I've seen khatibs do it. It's a good question. I partially answers your question. Yes.
In the khutbah, there's a lot of people talking about.
Yeah, that's a big no-no.
Yeah, that's
Right. Yeah.
You could repeat the question.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. What was your question? So like, can a khatib, the question was, can a khatib drink water during the khutbah? I partially answered that I see khatibs doing it. I'm assuming it's right. It's fine. If you're parched, like if it's something that is gonna stop you from giving the khutbah, I would assume that it's fine. And then the other question was, like the attendees, the people who are praying, they shouldn't be talking. They shouldn't be on their phones when the khatib is giving the khutbah. Yes.
What about making salam when you're entering?
You shouldn't make salam, and you shouldn't respond to the salam, and you shouldn't tell people to shush if they're talking. You should just focus 100% to whatever the khatib is doing. And it's not because the khatib is special, it's because it's a ritual for the sake of Allah. Yes.
When we arrive late and pray the 2 rakat, is that okay? The khutbah started, is that okay or not?
Yeah, it's okay, inshallah. So the question was, like someone arrives late and the khatib is giving the khutbah already. Should you sit down or should you pray? There's difference of opinion that I know of, but yeah, it's fine to pray. That's what I do, and that's I think that's the good way to do it. You had a question, Brother Anayat? Oh yeah.
In some masajid, I've seen the khatib just do the khutbah and somebody else reads the namaz.
Yeah, that's allowed. It's allowed that the khatib give you the full answer so people hear the question. It is allowed that the khatib gives the khutbah and someone else leads the prayer. Especially if the khatib can't perform the prayer properly. Like we said, like they can't read the Fatiha well. Like they might be a good orator, someone who can talk well, but for some reason they can't give the prayer properly. So, yeah, it is allowed. Yes.
So the khutbah, when the Khateeb start with the topic that they started with, if they can ever to finish it, the way they open it, just like you write an essay, right? So
Yeah, we'll talk about how to structure the khutbah itself,
yeah.
like coming up, like you said, like an essay, like a recap, thesis, all of that. We'll talk about that. But from a fiqh perspective, you don't need any of that. Like, you just need to give people a reminder. It could be one sentence.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's a Khateeb that start one topic, then you jump to another one.
That's
then
fine.
Another one, then you.
Yeah, from a fiqh perspective, it's fine. Is it like best practice? Not necessarily. And we'll talk about that in the second portion, in the public speaking tips. You don't want to open up 10 different topics, I agree. But from a fiqh perspective, it's not going to nullify your Jum'ah. It's still going to count as Jum'ah. Yeah.
The 2 rakat that you pray if you enter late, or what should be the intention behind those 2 rakat? Should it be Tahiyatul Masjid? Should it be what?
Oh, if you enter late, well, the Khatib, yeah, it should be for Tahiyatul Masjid. Let me repeat the question. If you enter late and the Khatib is already giving the khutbah, your intention, if you want to pray, and it's highly recommended, that it's Tahiyatul Masjid, which is like a general thing that you do whenever you enter a masjid. Before you sit down, you should pray 2 rakat. So even if the Khatib is doing it, you would do it, but do it quickly, Not too quickly that it's wrong, but quickly so that it is, giving you an opportunity to listen to the khutbah. Yes.
Sorry, too many questions, but it's not really about the Khateeb, but this is a youth group, right? Like when Jummah is going on, is it okay for kids to be like, walking around or like doing something?
Your question is it okay for kids to walk around during Jum'ah?
Yeah.
Like how young of a kid?
That's-
Baligh or non-baligh?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
What is acceptable?
I mean, again, in Islam, like baligh is what makes a kid an adult. Like, it's not 18, it's not 21, it's whenever you hit puberty, so 12, around 12. So everything's obligatory on you. So like a kid, we call a 12-year-old a kid, but in reality, if they hit puberty, they're an adult, and ideally they should be doing everything correctly, including sitting properly and all that. All right. This is how you give a khutbah. This is what makes. Yeah. One more question. Yeah.
Is it okay if a kid gives the khutbah?
Is he a baligh kid or a non-baligh kid?
No, like
Did
non-baligh.
non-baligh kid? Good question. I mean, realistically, I don't see the circumstances that, because if you're non-baligh, it's not even an obligation on you. Yeah. So you're giving a khutbah, and there's balighs in the. Logistically, it's gonna be hard. Is it, like, from a fiqh perspective, is it allowed or not? It's a good question for Sheikh Yasser. Alright, so again, to summarize, this is one slide. I worked hard to summarize it in one slide. This is what makes a khutbah. Try your best to hit all these points. And I gave you the script as an example, so there should not be any excuse. It shouldn't feel difficult. If you have to give a khutbah, make sure that you do all of these things. Is any of it this difficult? Is any of these points hard? If you have enough time to prepare and, you have access to the information, is it difficult? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. This is easy, inshallah. Okay, how do you get the information? Like the ayah, the hadith, Quran and Quran.com, which has the Quran online, and Sunnah and Sunnah.com, which has the hadiths. Make sure that you reference authentic hadith. There's different hadith, different levels of hadith. Some of them are not authentic, some of them are authentic. Ask the sheikh. If you're not sure, ask the sheikh. You have to have a relationship with the sheikh. Like, if you are striving to become a khatib, there's big warnings against people who get knowledge without going through teachers, without going through sheikhs. Don't ever assume because you read something online or in a book that you know it. You should establish a relationship with the sheikh, and he'll be happy to answer your questions. So you're preparing a khutbah. Say whoever is interested in the mock khutbah, like step number 3, and you're trying to find an ayah and a hadith. You found a hadith, you're not sure if it's authentic or not. Ask the sheikh. Like, whenever you see him, hey sheikh, this is a hadith I have in mind. Is it okay to use? And then he can explain to you yes or no and why. And This is my advice. If in doubt, don't. And what I mean by that is, if you, as you're preparing a khutbah, you found a hadith that you don't fully understand and you're doubtful what it means, don't include that hadith or the ayah if you don't understand it. You should be only putting things that you fully understand in your khutbah. Don't put things in the khutbah that you're doubtful about. Stay away from things you've not heard before. Just put the information that is well established in your mind, that's authentic. And this is an important point for everyone, especially the youth. Learn the deen. Like, the goal is not just to give a khutbah. The goal is for you to learn the deen. When you have enough knowledge, when you're always listening to lectures, when you talk to the shaykh regularly, when you're reading, then it'll be easy for you to give a khutbah. But if you're always on video games and playing and hanging out, and then all of a sudden you have to give a khutbah, it'll be a struggle. So the goal is not to give a khutbah. The goal is for you to have enough knowledge that you feel comfortable to give a khutbah if you need to give a khutbah. And make sure that you know the basics of your religion. There was a famous sheikh in Orange County that was saying that there was a Khateeb that goes around the different masjids in Orange County, and he reached out to that sheikh and told him, I didn't know that I needed to do ghusl after many years of giving khutbahs. So the sheikh was shocked. How are you standing telling people what to do and not to do, and you don't know the basics of your religion? Ghusl, like how you purify yourself, how to have tahara. You didn't know that you had to have ghusl, and you're standing and giving khutbahs to people. So it's a warning for us to make sure that we know the basics of our religion. Don't rush into something, again, like we said, that you're not organically comfortable to do. Alright, so this is how you research information to give the khutbah. This is the most basic khutbah that you can do. Get an ayah and hadith from Quran and Sunnah. You can use these websites. And just a warning, I would advise against AI. I know it's easy and convenient and accessible, but I would not recommend that you use AI. Make sure you go back to the sources. Yeah. And, we should always put what we teach into action, right? Like, if you're telling people don't lie and then you're lying and you think it's okay, then something is not right, right? So we need to practice what we preach. We don't want to be hypocrites telling people something and we do the opposite. Okay, so this concludes how to give a khutbah from a fiqh perspective. Like was brought up, it's not going to be a good khutbah necessarily, because you may be giving an ayah and hadith that are unrelated to your topic, and then maybe you're not a confident speaker, you're just reading, like murmuring. But is it a khutbah? Yes, it's a khutbah. If you did anything less than that, then it might not be a khutbah. Then it might be problematic. So this is how you give a khutbah. Now the next part is how to give a good khutbah, like the public speaking tips, how you structure your khutbah. So I'm going to start in with this section, unless anyone had any questions from the first section. Any comments? No? Okay. How to give a good khutbah, like how to speak in public well. Your goal should be that you run out of material, you run out of time, not run out of material. What do I mean by that? You start your khutbah 1:05, and then or iqamah will be 1:30. So you have 25 minutes, for example. You have 20 minutes. Let's say 20 minutes to make it easy. You have 20 minutes where you're supposed to be talking. So you want to be prepared not for a 20-minute talk. You want to be prepared for a 35-minute talk. You want to have enough material so that, okay, it's 1:30, now I got to end it. So I got to stop. But it would be awkward and it would be a very difficult situation if you prepared for 20 minutes, you think it was 20 minutes, you went through the material quickly, and now it's 1:20, there's 10 minutes until iqamah, and you're either going to call iqamah early, and then people are going to miss Jum'ah because of you. It's going to be so awkward. So make sure you over-prepare. You have more information than you think you need. So this is practical advice number one from a logistics standpoint, so you're prepared to give a good khutbah. Next one is easy and it applies to a lot of things. Look good, smell good, feel good, then you'll do good. Jum'ah, we should be, anyone coming to Jum'ah, not just a khatib, should be dressed well, wearing white, it's sunnah. Put cologne, put some good smell on you. That's the regular Jum'ah going person, right? How about the Khateeb, right? They should be extra on point that day. And then the next point is focus on the content itself. Like that's the reason I gave you guys the script. So you don't have to be worried and concerned, how do I start it? How do I end the khutbah? So just stick to the script, for example, so you can focus on the message that you want to deliver to the people. And this is important, reiteration. People get distracted. People, no matter what, like they're going to lose focus, they're going to wonder, like their brains are going to go somewhere else. So reiterate. But don't repeat the same words, like don't repeat the same sentence 3 times. Change up the vocabulary, change how you say it. So do reiterate a lot. These are things that help you give a good khutbah. Okay, the next few sections are related to frameworks. And what do I mean by framework? A framework, Ali, do you know what a framework is? What's your name next to Ali? Ayan. Do you know what a framework is? Okay. Do you know what a framework is? No? Okay. Basically, a framework is a way to help you structure your talk so that you know what to say. I'll give you an example because the easiest way is by giving examples. When I was learning how to give da'wah to non-Muslims, they told us, go rap. That's a framework. Cody, you know about it. Basically, this is how you invite someone who's not Muslim to Islam. Go rap. G-O-R-A-P. First, you talk to them about God. Do you believe in God? Do you believe that we were just created randomly or there was a creator that put us on this world? So they say, yes, I believe in a God. Then you can take it to the next point. Is that God, is it going to be many gods who created this world or just one that created things consistently? They will agree with you, it's one God. Then you would say, wouldn't that one God help us by revealing himself to us and telling us about himself? They will say, yes, it would make sense that the one God will reveal himself to us. And then you would go to the last point, that wouldn't it make sense that the one God would reveal himself to us and send prophets? They would say yes. So that's basically how you get them to say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, because they believe in one God, they believe that he revealed himself to us and the prophets, including Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is what a framework is. It's just a way to structure your talks. So in the context of Jum'ah, these are the frameworks I'm kind of proposing. The first one is called balance. You want to balance. Like this is a seesaw. Like if one side is too high, try to bring it to the middle. If the other side is too low, bring it up in the middle. Advising others. There's 2 extremes and you should hit the middle point. You shouldn't feel awkward that you're advising others because you're not perfect. Right? That's one extreme. But also, you shouldn't feel that you're better than others. So you need to be in the middle. That should be your attitude. You should be feeling that I'm advising others, not because I'm better than them, but because I need the reminder myself, and inshallah they benefit from it as well. That makes sense? Like this is the balanced approach we should have. And this helps us with our attitude. This will translate to how we talk in our khutbahs. Another example is getting feedback from people. After Jum'ah, people are going to come and give you feedback. It could be one of 2 extremes, that you don't want to hear anything from anyone. You feel like it's criticism. I don't want to hear anyone because if they say something, they're attacking me. That's one extreme. The other extreme is, I want people to praise me, let me fish for compliments. That's also bad. So the proper balanced approach is when you give a khutbah, be open and welcoming feedback if it comes your way. But make sure that you always renew your intention. It's not about people praising you or criticizing you. It's always about Allah and Allah alone. This is the next balanced aspect. And I put the pictures first before I talked about the text. And my question to you guys is, what do these pictures make you feel? How do you feel when you see these pictures? Order? What else? Peace. Yeah. You feel spiritual, right? Like you feel at peace, spirituality. So my point here is coming to Jum'ah shouldn't be yet another newscast. We want to make it relevant, yes, but it shouldn't be so explicit on current events that I feel like I'm listening to the news. So there should be a balanced approach there. This is the only time that people may be reminded by Allah, the Prophet ﷺ, that we want to connect with our deen. So make it relatable, yes, but don't go to an extreme where it's talking about the current events as if you're in a newscast. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the only excuse you have to miss Jum'ah?
What's the excuse to missing Jum'ah? If you're traveling, you don't have to pray Jum'ah. If you're super sick and you can't stand up, of course that gives you an excuse too. So this is the balanced approach when you give information. Make it relevant, but don't make it too explicit. Don't make it disconnected to the deen and the ayahs and the hadiths. So balance your duration of the khutbah, balance the amount of information, balance your confidence. Don't be arrogant, but also don't be arrogant, but don't also be timid. Okay? That makes sense? Just think of the idea here, and not everything is going to register with everyone, I totally understand. But just keep these in the back of your head, that you should balance your talk. It shouldn't be one extreme or the other. This is the next framework. You should answer 2 questions when you give a khutbah. If you're giving a khutbah, if I'm going to sit and listen to you give a khutbah, I want you to have these 2 questions answered in your mind and in your preparation before you stand up and give me a khutbah. The first question that you should answer to yourself is, what is your message? What are you trying to tell me today? What is the punchline, right? Like I gave an example, you're telling people, don't lie. Right? What's an example of another topic in a khutbah? What's a message, Ali? Don't listen to music. For example, this is a punchline. This is the message that you want to deliver to people. This should be very clear. Because again, to the point that was made earlier, if there isn't a single focus, if there isn't a singular theme in the khutbah, people are going to get distracted. It's going to be hard to connect dots. Just focus on one message per khutbah. I want to hear some other examples of some messages. Raise your hand if you haven't said anything yet. Or Ali, what's your name again? No, the one behind you. Give me an idea of a topic that you want to give a khutbah about, potentially. Just like the message itself. What do you want to tell people?
About Prophet Muhammad.
You want to talk about Prophet Muhammad. See, there's like a singular theme. You're talking about Prophet Muhammad. Hamza, what's another example? Yeah, you have your hand raised.
Like maybe about Islam.
Yeah, but what specifically about Islam? Loving Islam,
Yeah.
for example. Yeah, you want to make it specific. You want to pick one thing and make it specific. So the second question that you have to answer is, what is your evidence? So some of the things that were mentioned is, don't listen to music. Right, Ali? So what is your evidence that we shouldn't listen to music? Don't answer me right now, but like if you're giving me a khutbah, you should research it. I don't want to hear Ali's opinion, right? It's not about you. Whoever is giving a khutbah, it's not about their personal opinion. There should be evidence from Quran and Sunnah to talk about their points. So this is another framework to simplify how you prepare a khutbah. Answer these 2 questions. What is the message you're trying to deliver? And what are the evidences that you have to support your message? Alright, next one is my favorite. I have it in red because I do want you guys to focus in this slide. Yes?
It's almost time for Isha. Is this a good breaking point, or we can continue after Isha?
Yeah, we can pause here and then I'll talk to you guys after about Ethos, Pathos, Logos, inshallah.